Hey, good afternoon or morning if you're weird in a bad time zone. We have another of many Dash recall races happening this weekend. This is going to be a race between FrencHForCe and Set Spazers to Fun, between Diddy and Android Dreams. Both teams a little bit on the back end of their division, but playing for fun and getting some interesting seed stuff going on. So Dash Recall Week is definitely different than other weeks you might have been seeing throughout the tournament. There are a lot of different changes, a lot of different logics that are potentially going to come into play. One of the major things off the start is runners do have a starter charge beam, which is very weak. There are 4 different charge upgrades throughout, and beam damage ratios are slightly different. If you see the 20 up on the heads-up display there, as our runners get underway here, that is the current charge beam damage they deal. So they can get that to a max of 500. Not likely to see that because that requires all charge upgrades, plus certain beam combos, but we'll see. Also of note, it looks like we have 2 non-moonfallers in here. But also of note, there are 2 new kind of half-suit items, a heat shield and pressure valve. They act like mini Varia and mini Gravity. They protect you from heat damage in upper Norfair for heat shield, but not lower Norfair. It just does a 50% reduction there. And then the pressure valve lets you move around freely in Meridia until you get to East Meridia, where you still need gravity to have free movement. But anyway, start off. Get a pretty basic start here. Doesn't have to be more full, but our runners do get more full. And I'm going to apologize in advance. If you see anything missing on the trackers, please let me know, because that's going to be a fun time. So missiles are, they're all right. They're all right. And actually, depending on your beam, missiles are actually quite valuable. Right now, a single missile deals 5 times the damage of their beam. However, Wave Beam is an excellent beam. So something that Wave Beam, or something that happens in Dash, is the SBAs deal full damage from the start. And speaking of, we do get Power Bombs. So the Wave SBA, the X Factor, is definitely a very nice thing to have. And Rando, you don't actually see it come up very often, where you just have this specific beam combo to potentially do the X Factors. But are we gonna get any? Is anyone gonna follow through and do a whole meme route here? Nope. I'm gonna have a couple non-believers. Without supers, yes, Toasty saying in chat. Without supers, it is risky. Wave Beam mitigates that risk a little bit because it means you don't have to skip the big pink E-Tank. So I don't think... I actually would have preferred to have seen the runner's meme route in here, but we'll see what comes out from the pretty standard play to head back up. They'll both be hitting Bomb Frizo. Most likely not have anything for Gauntlet, so they'll just be going on from there. And heading toward Terminator, probably. It's going to make some extra checks. They do want to find at least 1 super. Supers are slightly reduced overall in terms of their spawn rate in Dash Recall. So it might be a little bit less likely to find just laying out in the wild somewhere. There's got to be 1 available, so they are going to keep looking for that. Although it is very possible there is one available and it is locked behind meat rounds. That is a possibility. Not a great one, but it exists. We'll find out what bomb Chorizo has here. They have power bombs, so it doesn't have to be progression here. Could just be your E-tank or something like that. And it is the heat shield. Okay, so that's one of our new items. So this is heat protection in Upper Norfair and a 50% reduction in Lower Norfair. I don't think either runner will be aiming to do suitless Lower Norfair, but if they do, having the heat shield is definitely a bonus. This is actually kind of interesting. Android is going to have the power bomb to potentially check back a gauntlet here on a scout if he really wants to see if there's a super back there. I actually kind of don't think that's worth it here, seeing how they don't have the means to get to the back. And yeah, he's just going to skip it. I think that's a good call. Just an E-tank at Terminator. Nothing super exciting there. Oh, and something else to mention is the pseudo screw attack is full damage from the start as well. So it's literally just the charge shot. Any other thing involving charge is still the normal damage you would expect. British Reserve. This is likely going to have a super. 4 small ammos, 1 major here. And that is the grapple. So a couple power bombs early, that's not... And a missile. Okay, there's only 1 minor left. Maybe it's not likely to have a super here. It's a pretty good volume of minors here, but... Doesn't like them to be supers. The good news for Diddy is he's going to be able to scout the last item anyway. With that wave beam, see if he really wants it. And just another missile, so still no super. Picking up a 3rd power bomb, always good. No guarantee you're ever going to get Ice Beam in a Rando. So having 3 power bombs for the Metroids at the end is just a good thing to have, just in case. Yep, another major here at Eticoons. I wonder if either player is going to follow through to the back to see if a super's back here. That's just an E-tank. Droid is going to follow through just to take a look. This is not normally a check you would make in a mode like this, but when you're looking for supers, pretty soon the players are going to get locked by a super door and forced to go back if they do not have one. And it's another power bomb. Randos are fun and great, and no one has ever been upset by item placement in a randomizer. They are going to be quickly running out of checks. How many mice do I have left? They've got Spore Spawn, got the really big pink, 2 in there. So they've got 4 miners left because it's Mission Impossible as well. Just a missile. So 3 left. I thought the power. Oh no. 2 left. And as Wish is saying in chat, the spawn miner can be gotten, but it is not logical to get without supers. So yeah, the runners, you know what's a Mission Impossible, and so logically, there's Mission Impossible. There's Back a Gauntlet. Now they have the power bombs. And my brain just went blank. The pipe, yeah, the meme route. There's still things like they can follow a meme route down into Norfair for a bit, but that would be a ridiculous set of. And did Android not check Big Pink? I missed that entirely. He must have skipped it, probably because he didn't have supers or wasn't thinking about Wave Beam. So Android did take the save before Spospo. Is Diddy's following? No. Against his teammates' wishes, following into Spospo. This is... Now you see, with Wave Beam, I do think Meme Route was definitely a better choice, because they wouldn't have got stuck. And if there were the supers are in Back a Gauntlet or in Pipe, they can either scout Back a Gauntlet, they could have got the ones in the Pipe. Like, there's reasons not to do Meme Route. I think with Wave Beam there was more reasons to do it. But I'm also really bad at the game, so don't listen to me. And without supers, the runners are going to have to get 10 missiles into Spospo. It's 1,000 health, 100 damage per missile. So ideally, the runners want to try and get as many missiles in per round as possible. There are ways to actually speed this up by your missile damage, but also not super easy and not very practiced, because you almost never see Spospo. And, oh boy. Yep, banking on Spospo, not great. So, both runners did have the safety save before Spospo, so they're both going to have to backtrack out of here. So, who wants to take bets on where this super is? Do we have a super in Back a Gauntlet? We've got Billy Mays, and then we have the meme route. That's supposed to go down for Diddy. Wisely not worrying about waiting for drops. Because if it's not supers, you're just resetting anyway, so why waste the time? Yeah, if the supers are at Billy, that's... You never, ever bank on... It feels bad, but at the same time, you never... You're just not gonna really race anybody that's also probably going to do Billy Mays first immediately in a mode like this, so like it feels bad, but it's not. It doesn't feel that bad. There are worse things. Alright, so Back a Gauntlet, what do we have? Good, no super, okay. Interesting. So, with no super there, I can't imagine either player going to check the major in Gauntlet, because that's not nearly as important as having a super right now. And it can't be anything super valuable. It could be like Speed Booster, like a Space Jump, anything like that, but not one of your suits. So back down. So honestly, for both players, you don't feel great about this. But at the same time, I also don't think either of them feel particularly bad about their decisions. Like, I think you would kind of expect your opponent to make basically the same decisions you've made at this point. Get Billy here. Diddy's going to check Gauntlet, looks like, for that major. This is interesting. Oh, you know, man, this meme route though. While overall, I do think the general consensus is that it's probably not the best check to have done with the loadout they had. Again, there's an argument to be made. It doesn't matter with having Wave Beam, but yeah. Oh, and Gauntlet's just an E-Tank. That is not good for Diddy. That's basically just going to be a time loss for Diddy. And is the super right here? Yep, there's the super. I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that's the only thing I would have got right in the seed. Android going back because he did not check Big Pinky Tank. Forgetting that Wave Beam, this is not a super gate. This is a beam gate. That super just lets you open. And yeah, I think he's realized. So, whoops. So there is the possibility for the runners, both runners, to feel very behind right now. Diddy a little more so with that gauntlet check, but I also don't think either one really seriously thinks the other did meme route with that loadout. Because again, doing meme route without supers is not a standard play. And I imagine Diddy's also going to head straight to Billy Mays first. 2 checks versus 1. But we are actually going to... Yep, going to Billy. This makes sense. Neither runner really gambling right now. We'll see if they feel like they might need to later. We are going to get some new checks, some new info here. Now I wonder if that heat shield's going to push both runners down the warfare, since they're protected from heat in the upper area. I think that probably makes sense. X-ray check is going to be any tank, so not super useful. No, that's gonna go so long where I don't have to push buttons. I'm gonna completely forget about it. So I imagine we're going to see Android continue down, check Spazer. Diddy, you have 5 tanks. I think you'll be alright. Those side hoppers, I was wrong. Android's going up. Those side hoppers do deal 80 damage, but you've got some health. There's the supers for Diddy. So Android, it's actually surprised me by going up here. That's the only progression really is going to be at Wreck Ship that he could find up here. I guess maybe he could check Gauntlet potentially, which I don't particularly like. In Dash, I don't particularly like the Gauntlet check myself. In all 3 of my practice seeds and in my race, I just skipped it entirely, and it was never anything. But yeah, Wreck Ship here for Android. They do with the grapple, can get across just fine. Or I said that, but you know, Android must have heard me. And to make sure. So this is a big point of potential divergence here if Diddy goes down. Which, again, I really think that's probably the play to make here. Just a missile, a spooky missile. Yeah, so I guess I should mention some other changes in Dash Recall. As Diddy is going down, so we do get this divergence here, which is actually good for Diddy because he was just trailing behind Android doing the same stuff. There are new major locations. One of them is in Wreck Ship. It is the Sky Missile. So there are 5 majors here. There is one in Watering Hole, and there is one at Mickey Mouse and Lower Warfare. Those are the 3 new major locations, as it's just an E-tank as Spazer. So Wreck Ship, it does have that extra major, but it is still relatively slow. But there is more value in Wreck Ship than there normally would be. Especially compared to the Chozo week last week, and where there were only 3. And actually, I would like to have seen Android try. I don't know if maybe Android's just not practiced or not thinking about it or whatever, but I would like to see Android be using X Factors on Fan 2. By far, the best damage output it's got. These doppels aren't working super great right now. Should be fine though, with plenty of energy. Can pseudo screw to avoid damage from the flames. I don't expect him to have any real trouble with finishing this fight. Diddy's also pulling up in the crate here. Yeah, he should be able to get Phantoon. Yeah, there he goes. That's a dead Phantoon for Android. And that's a dead crate for Diddy. And he take behind crate, okay. Alright, so we've got a relatively quick major here on the right side. be careful if he is intending on full clearing the wreck ship. He's going to want some. Well, okay. That is a nice find. So is that super missile on Diddy's side. Supers deal as a base 300 damage per shot. And right now the beam deals 50. So more supers is more good. As just more missiles here at Wreckship. And Diddy skipping the Kraid E-Tank, that is no longer, that was removed as a major. So that's a heads up move there. Could have looked to see if there was another super there though. I actually think I would have looked for a super at that point. That gravity suit. Also, this is kind of nice for Android because he no longer has to sponge bath to get through to the Wreckship E-Tank here. That gravity suit just gives him free movement through the water. Doesn't need to sponge bath with a limited amount of power bombs. Very nice. As you can see on Diddy's side, heat shield protecting from heat damage here. And Wreckship E-Tank and Ice Beam checks. Well, there's double jump for, and there's Ice Beam. Okay, double jump for Diddy, Ice Beam for Android. Wreckship has actually been pretty valuable so far with these two checks. So double jump is exactly as it sounds. It lets you jump twice. It's like a miniature, a very nerfed space jump. The same mechanics as space jump apply to it. If you fall too far, you can't do your second jump. A double jump is nice because it is a way through lower Norfair, through worst room in the game. Double missile at high jump here. Okay. Yeah, Diddy's. I think Diddy made a good play to go down. There's bombs. But the better items so far have been at Wreckship. This play. So Android going to go ahead and scout the Wreckship Reserve. This is open, but it is a little quicker just to scout it beforehand to see if you want, which, oh my gosh. What in the world is this Wreckship? That is just cool. That speed booster, once Android gets it, is just going to make these checks that Diddy's doing in upper Norfair just faster for Android to do, period. I don't like how Android is handling this tripper thing. Yeah, that if I could verbally show you my Pikachu shocked face, I would, but that was questionable from the beginning. Let's put it that way. And there you see a good use of double jump there. Get a Bubble Mountain from Diddy. So Diddy needs... what is Diddy's best out at this point? He needs to find Variasuit in a spot that's... There's just space jump. You know, Diddy got double jump. Android just says, heck that. Just fight space jump. That is 4 good items in Wreckship. There's one major we haven't seen yet. As Diddy, unfortunately, just found a piece of trash. And there's a second super for Android. There really is not a good out for Diddy right now. They're just... He needs Varia to be in a terrible location, but there's no location he can get to that Android's not going to be able to get to easier or faster right now. Like maybe at Waterway if he gets Spazer and decides he's going to check Waterway. That, and Android skips that. That, I think, is really the only potential out that Diddy has at this point. Spring Ball. You know what? Spring Ball is pretty good. But that's not going to save him anything. This divergence has been, unfortunately, a bit of a disaster. So, Android going to go pick up that speed booster, go 4 for 4 on these items in Wreck Ship with this one more at Gravity Suit that's not known yet. And actually, I think since he's down here, Diddy just does Croc. I think that's what he's going to end up doing. It is a bit tricky. You do need to get wall jumper on that. There you go. There's speed. So are we going to get an 80% stack ship or 100% stack ship with these items? That is the real question. There's pressure valve. Honestly, Spazers not terrible. Not terrible to see here. Spazers, I mean, it doubled his beam damage output right now. I am shocked at this wreck ship. Like, there is one potential out for Diddy, and it's not great. And it's not really an out anymore because Spazer and Speed were back there. So yeah, I don't think Diddy has any. Diddy's chance now is that Android for some reason skips Varia, which I don't see Android doing. That is Diddy's out. Because with Speed and Spazer back there, to do Waterway, he has to full clear wreck ship. So yeah, that's. I guess if Android full clears everything else like Diddy's gonna do, but Android's gonna be able to do it more efficiently because his items are better. That's the second and last piece of trash. I mean, both trash tanks are in upper Norfair. That kind of tells you how choosing this area went. Wow. Also, yes, for the question in chat, yeah, no, pressure valve is lesser gravity. It does absolutely nothing that gravity doesn't do. So just having gravity is better. And yeah, that's kind of how things have gone for Diddy. He got double jump, Android fighting space jump. Diddy gets pressure valve, Android gets gravity suit. Like, there's that decision to go to wreck ship. I was kind of surprised by it, but that has definitely ended up being the correct call. So Android looks like he's going to head straight to Dragon. He might check the major behind Baltoon first. Okay, there's Varia. There's Varia. So I don't know if Diddy does high jump with Lava Dive. So, okay, for Diddy, if Android full clears all the majors in Meridia, and then full clears Upper Norfair, then that would be the best outcome for him in this case, to try and claw back some of this time. Because Diddy doesn't have high jump. Although I kind of see Diddy going into Meridia. Because he has that pressure valve. And it's just sort of on the way to wreck ship. So he might do Mama Turtle, he might do Watering Hole. I don't know if he does Shack. I kind of hope that he would just skip Shack. But those three majors are open to him in Meridia. He does have a few more supers, which at this point with the yes, you can get to Shack with pressure valve. I am pretty positive. I think it's only the East Meridia area that the water takes effect again. We got Dragon on Android. Like, Android's in a really good spot. The worst case for him is he kind of goobers up the routing, thinking he might find Varia in Upper Norfair, skip Croc to go back to Meridia, because then maybe he thinks, I mean, like, the worst case for him is he really goobers the routing and isn't super thorough on his passes through. As Diddy trying to get up here? Let me see how his Dragon, and that's the first charge upgrade. Okay, they did have to show up eventually. But his beam now deals 200 damage. We're gonna see a Mama Turtle here soon too. And there's another charge upgrade. Okay. And yeah, that was a good Dragon fight there from Android. I imagine he's gonna scout this Batoon item, probably check Sandpit on the way out. I don't think he goes to Shack Tool at this point. I think that would be... I mean, Shack Tool is quicker but to do in this mode, but I don't think that's... At this point, I think there's too much stuff to bank on Varia at Shack Tool. Alright, so Diddy is going to head up toward Watering Hole. Like, the best option, or best thing that Diddy could find here is probably High Jump. Maybe Screw Attack for Lower Norfair. I think High Jump's more valuable. Android saving here. I guess maybe he might be planning to take this to Shack Tool or Plasma and then resetting. Unless he wants to scout both pits, for one for the major and the other for potentially ammo. Alright, just another E-Tank there. I am a little interested in what the decision there to do So that's an X-ray. Not even super useful. Like, it's not. He's going to Shack Tool, so I wonder if he's just going to reset Shack Tool. Or maybe come back, check Plasma, and then reset. Yeah, Diddy has literally no way to get through, so he's not even going to attempt any Suitless Sir. And that's high jump. So that's the last good thing Diddy could have found that Android didn't have is no longer an option. Android just has to get out of here. A little bit more difficult with high jump. Can always either turn off gravity or turn the bits off. Make this easier. Oh, did he? Okay. You have double jump, Diddy. You have. It is much like space jump. It is pretty easy to forget. You have double jump because there is no animation change. Okay, that is the worst opinion I've ever seen. Grapple is the best item. Alright, so Diddy is going to head up to Wreck Ship. Gravity was the first item, but that speed was... I'm trying to debate here what the best option for Diddy is after he gets gravity. Ice is at the Wreck Ship E. And then speed was at reserve. And the Spazer is actually kind of nice, because that would give him maximum beam damage. Even Plasma can't top. Plasma is the equivalent of Ice Wave Spazer in terms of beam damage in this particular rando. Yeah, and I think Diddy's just forgotten entirely about double jump. Which, honestly, not surprising. Another E-Tank there at Plasma. So the outs Diddy needs is sort of happening right now. Android is full clearing these. We'll see if he full clears the rest of... He's not resetting either. Okay, I disagree. Maybe he didn't fully think this through, but if you make that save, you don't then not use it in this spot, I think. Unless he's not thinking about watering hole. Like, I guess that is a possibility. He's not thinking about watering hole. Not sure. Diddy also not setting up for X Factors here. Oh, you're right. He did pick up high jump. Okay, yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, keeping the high jump probably. Never mind. My brain. Oh, speaking of high jump, I didn't push a button. And he will pick up a second charge upgrade here. Which I imagine. Hey, is he gonna go? Yeah, he wouldn't have speed, but if Diddy gets the grab, does ice, and then backdoors into Meridia, I think that's probably his best option to just go mode after those two. I think that's the best option for him at that point. lacking the speed does hurt, but speed doesn't do too much in Lore and Warfare. It does hurt elsewhere, but that is a Phantoon down. So our runners are tied again with bosses. We've got 2 different bosses, though. So with that speed, though, Android is going to be able to do these upper Norfair checks quicker than Diddy was able to. And Android just going to skip out on X-Ray. Microwave, much less powerful in this mode. Can still be useful, but... Also, he doesn't have a boss left he can microwave, so yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that is the gravity... Or Diddy. No. Does he go to ice or go to the wreck ship energy tank, get ice, and then bail? I do think that is his best option. He's gonna look for another super here. It's just gonna take the ammo. Again, ice and speed aren't guaranteed, so having the means to destroy his appetites is not a bad thing. Android has Spazer here. Okay. Okay, Diddy is just bailing. This is... Okay, wait, no, he's going back. He's gonna save first? Maybe he's gonna save and check the wreck ship E. And that is a nice refill there for Android. Okay, good. I was gonna say. Because this will give Diddy a means of doing Zebetite skip. So he won't need ammo for the Zebs. Which is good. So right now his super advantage, I think, will dry up a little bit or disappear entirely as Android searches for Varia. Good news for Android is he's not going to Waterway, which I think is... that would be a big gamble, which I don't think he needs to do. I mean, he should feel pretty alright with this decisions, I think. There's the Ice Beam. Diddy is definitely going to keep that. Yep, and there's one of those super missiles for Android. Diddy is going to backdoor into Meridia. I think this is definitely correct. I think at this point Diddy just needs to say he's in go and go. You know, maybe checks behind Ridley or Dragon, hoping for another charge upgrade, something like that. Or high jump or speed, but it's... We know high jump and speed are already off the table. So... Not a great big kill, so Diddy is going to have done this a little bit more efficient. Which... He needs. Diddy needs to have done some of this stuff a little bit more efficiently than Android, because Android's gonna... Android's still in a very good spot. I am actually kind of worried that Diddy forgot about high jump? Or not high jump, double jump? I'm a little bit concerned about that. If he forgot that, that'll slow him down if he's doing like bomb jumps or spring ball jumps through Lower Norfair. Did he check plasma here? I think at this point he is going to, since he's going through this door. Yeah, he is going to check it. Just an E-tank there, I believe it was. Might have been another charge upgrade. I forget what was here. Okay, Diddy did not forget he has double jump. For Android, I don't actually like this route here. I think he should have checked high jump first. He has everything for Lower Warfare, so if you're going to do this check high jump, and then do Southern route to Lower Warfare. You don't need anything else. Although it may just be a comfort thing. Yeah, he's skipping double jump, which he should, because he already has space jump. His beam combo deals super's worth of damage. So it's still, if you're trying to do math in your head, it's the same amount of shots for me. Oh, you're right. Never mind. I forgot he doesn't have area. I forgot all about that. I see a purple suit. It's like, oh, yeah. Never mind. Then this makes perfect sense. I forget everything I said about Modern Warfare. That is the bomb. I actually would have skipped that. I think when you have so many power bombs early, bombs just become a... Especially if you have ice already, bombs just... Even without ice, I think bombs just become a time loss to pick up. He has a way through worst room in the game, so it's not like there's anything super pressing. Yeah, he's gonna do... And I think this is the logical thing to do, clear Bubble Mountain. There's 3 majors here. I mean, so this is going to let Diddy get close, but the movement items for Android are, I think, going to be too much to overcome. Like, Diddy needs Android to not get very at these checks, and then make a gamble on Waterway. That's what Diddy needs to happen, and I don't see that happening. There's 2 majors at Croc versus the one at Waterway. Croc is closer, or he'll be closer to Croc. I just don't see Android making that sort of gamble here. Well, he picked up bombs. Does he pick up Spring Ball? Spring Ball, I actually find to be a better pickup than bombs in a situation like this. He does go out. I don't really agree with this pickup either, honestly. Oh, and that missed grapple there from Diddy is going to cost him some time on Dragon. That is unfortunate. Does get the Dragon kill though. I really like Spring Ball, but I don't think that at this spot is a great pickup. Second charge upgrade for Diddy. Yeah, he needs to... He just has Ridley left. He needs to just beeline Ridley. And at this point, this is the point where Android, for Diddy to have a chance, Android needs to go to Waterway right here. And even then, I still think Android probably has an advantage just because he's been able to do all these checks more efficiently. And yeah, Android's going to Croc, which makes sense. Did he do a slight farm up here? I'm not entirely sure why all his supers full here. It's nice to have full supers, but I don't think that's worth it there. Diddy's gonna look for more ammo. I understand the sentiment here, but I think at this point, you skip these checks. It is gonna be nicer for Ridley. Like, he is now one missile pack from just being able to ammo Ridley. But it's 14 seconds, I guess closer to 13 seconds overall there, that he just lost doing that. Collecting the items, let alone doing the snail clip. And Android is going to come up on his go mode area here, and he's just going to bail after this. For Android, I think the only thing he should check is behind Ridley. I don't think there's any other major that makes sense at this point. Like, Fire Fleas and Mickey Mouse are both relatively quick, but I also don't think they're worth checking. There's not going to be anything there that's going to be worth the time loss plus the potential item pickup. Plasma's not going to do him any good because he already has... His beam's going to deal the same damage either way. I don't think the charge upgrade would be worth it either. Like, if the charge upgrade is behind Ridley, then okay. I think that'd be worth it. That's about it. Alright, Diddy. Forced to do this route because he does not have speed. So yeah, Diddy making the right decision to go straight to Lower Norfair, but Android's even going to beat him there. That's just how much more efficient the route happened to be for Android, because he did FrencHForCe, which, again, I was surprised, but it was definitely the correct decision. Like, everything there was just good for Android. There's a super there. I'm actually surprised Diddy scouted a super there and just left it. Like, if you're going to collect ammo, interesting. Okay, good. I was almost a little worried there. Android was gonna go check the GT item. Nice fast pillar there from Android. Diddy gonna try and use his double jump here and... Oh, it's there. Android using a few extra powers. Get some extra damage on those pirates. Oh. Did he having some trouble? He looks like he's just gonna... Oh, nope. I guess he's gonna just gravity jump. Oh, I guess he's just gonna grab. Right. That is another charge upgrade for Android. It's nice, but again, I don't think this was super worth it. So that might remove one shot off of Ridley. Maybe 2 or 3 if ammo gets really missed. It might save 3 shots or so on Mother Brain? 3 to 5 shots on Mother Brain, maybe? I don't think that check was worth it. And he's checking Fireflies first, too. Screw attack is nice, but that's gonna make Ridley really safe. But I disagree with his checks. Diddy has a more of a reason to do these checks than Android did. Android, I think, was already fairly well equipped. I don't think he needed to bother with that, but he went ahead and did it. Diddy, I kind of expect to make these checks, potentially. Because there's still good things that he can find. Like, his mind, he can find high jump, he can find speed booster. But Diddy making these checks, I think, is much more reasonable on his end. Like, it's not... Again, yeah, like Toasty's saying in chat, it's not entirely unreasonable that maybe Android's it's just a comfort thing, which can play a huge factor if you're playing tight against Ridley or something. Like it can definitely spiral. But I don't know. I think his loadout was really solid. Like he did not have a bad loadout. I don't know. Gonna do some farm up. Getting those supers is nice. Much faster DPS than your beam's gonna be. And yeah, Diddy is making up a little bit of time through here. Even despite his lack of movement items. Yeah, he's going to check this. Didn't get the clip through the cargo. Still managed to get hit by the cargo. That's unfortunate. Alright, so full ammo for Android. He is going to be 10 missiles short. So 3 charge slots, and then he can ammo kill without power bombs. One thing I learned with this particular dash recall is you start needing to do math more on the way toward bosses. At least it made me do math more to figure out what exactly I was looking at as far as combination of ammo and beams. Like, if you wanted to teach math using Super Metroid, you should use this. There's a lot of math in Super Metroid in general, but that's always static. Like, all of the bosses, your beam combos and the bosses, that's all always going to be the same. Dash Recall, not so much. So he has plenty of shots. He might just be trying to avoid using super, or using regular missiles on Ridley, which, yeah, he's definitely well beyond. He's going to be able to finish Ridley off very easily here. He's missed quite a few supers, but he had some leeway there. Yep, Ridley's dead. Diddy going to go full ammo here. If he hits every shot, this will be an ammo kill on Ridley. If not, he does have a beam that it's 240, and that's the final charge upgrade. So yeah, 500 is the max damage that beams can do in dash recall. Even if he had plasma, it would be capped at 500. Which is much less than, at least as far as the full beam plasma goes. Oh, Diddy unfortunately had a super eaten by the tail, so he'll have to do a couple of charge shots to make up for that. Oh, so that's going to be 4 charge shots, I believe. I think that's how the math is going to work out. At least 3, but 1 more should be. Oh, I don't think that hit. It did not hit. Yeah, you got 1 more shot to do. Yeah, now Ridley's definitely. Or not. I wonder if I would not suggest using power bombs there, but okay. We had plenty of health, so it wasn't super dangerous. And yeah, this is a good check for Diddy. Again, I think Android wasn't doing anything wrong at all by doing the checks that he did. I just think they were completely unnecessary for a player in his position to do. Diddy has so much more potential value in these checks that I think it's worth Diddy to check these. Again, though, when you're racing these, it's hard to do all these calculations in your head, and it could, again, as Chad mentioned, could be a comfort level thing as well. There's a whole lot that goes into these races that, as a viewer, we have the luxury of seeing, both runners. We have the luxury of knowing, these checks will have value or they won't have value. It's easier for us to do the math in our head because we're only thinking about one thing at a time, really. Versus when you're running, it's a lot different. There's a lot more that goes into it when you're running. So. One thing I do want to see Android do here, I don't want him to ship refill. He's got 7 supers. He's gonna have to use 1 on the gate up here, but he has enough supers. I would just go, and did he even skipping Fireplate, which is gonna end up being a good call. I'm actually kind of surprised he's skipping Fireplate. Maybe he just thinks since he's already here, just go. Diddy's supers, however, are much lower, so I think the ship refill and his missiles also, since he just did full aim on Ridley. The problem for Diddley is he's got all these empty E-tanks, and energy takes forever to refill in the ship. So while I do think the ship refill is good for him, it's going to be slow. Things were just not working out for Diddy in this race. With the way the seed placed the items. Okay, and Android did skip the ship. Okay, good. I 100% agree with that decision. Look, did he scout the super and boat? He's still not going to collect. Oh, maybe he's going to go back for it. Nope. Okay, Diddy. Make up your mind and go. Maybe he was thinking Frog Speedway and then realized he didn't have Spazer. That's one. This is a 0944 elevator for Android. Which he's cleared most of the game, but I still don't think in his position, like, you're always a bit nervous in races. You don't know what your opponent's done. And when you're racing somebody, at least when I'm racing somebody, it feels like they're like Zost on steroids or something, but I don't think there's a lot of reason to feel bad about any of his decisions. So I don't think... I don't know. He did clear a lot, though. Maybe he also thinks that Diddy's a better execution player, so if Diddy also did the same stuff, he might feel like potentially there's a chance he's behind in here. So did he not? Okay, actually, no, this makes sense because he doesn't have speed or space jump. So did he not taking the Meridia route? Makes a lot of sense here. Android not going for baby skip, damaging down. Looking right, saving 40 frames. He's going to be able to get an instant stand out of this. Yeah, poor Android. Just gotta make it through and not mess up the mother brain fight. I have no experience doing that. There's definitely no way it could happen. And yeah, Diddy, I think this is correct for him taking the refill. Also, we have another runner who doesn't do the free down back. I am disappointed. It saves the menu. If the 40 frames for looking right at the baby are important enough to save, I think learning the down back and saving the menu time is worth it too. Anyway, something somewhat unique in this Rando League season. Not a fast mother brain. This is just a normal mother brain. And I don't even want to do the math on how many shots this is going to be. I do, however, 100% agree . 36. Is that 36 after the ammo? Or... yeah, that would have to be after ammo, because it doesn't make sense. Wait, does it make sense? No, that's not after ammo. Oh, that's without. Okay. I do 100% agree with Android not saving ammo for catch-up phase. It's player preference. I find the catch-up phase easier to dodge. Just ignore what happened in my last race. I think it's easier to dodge, so I prefer to use my ammo earlier. especially if I'm like a low energy. But again, it's player preference. So. But is going to get through the Mother Brain fight. Has literally all the movement items. This is pretty safe bet for Android at this point. Although, you know, despite the routing difference, not doing the wreck ship first, and not getting anything really from his trip down into Norfair, Diddy is not that far behind. You know, for the difference, for how that wreck ship paid out, you know, Diddy has done a very good job at keeping this close. If I were in Diddy's spot, I imagine I am still probably a lower Norfair at this point. Like Diddy's done a really good job to be where he's at this point. Android just got to finish off Mother Brain here and do a quick escape. All right, and this math is easy. Thank you for being at 300, Diddy. 60 shots for Diddy. So minus whatever ammo he ends up with by the time MV2 starts. So good job not needing the screen scroll there. That always irritates me when I see players do that first Mother Brain escape room wrong. All right, so 31-14. So that's 10-24. So 36 shots are required for Diddy, ironically. As long as all his ammo hits. Diddy's saving his supers for catch-up phase. So again, it's player preference. Maybe it's because he doesn't have high jump that maybe this catch-up's going to be a bit harder to... The catch-up is a bit harder to avoid without high jump. Though he's got plenty of health. But Android coming up on taking the win for Set Spazers to Fun. So that is a GG for Android. And let me scroll up here to see what his time was. His official time was 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 54 seconds. So GG. Oh my goodness, that's a volume increase. Yeah, Diddy should be able to make it through. Yep, Diddy's gonna make it through. See anything immediately following on this G5, so if the runners do want to come in for an interview, we do have a bit of time. We'll see. And we are joined by Android Dreams. Hello, and congrats.
Hey, thank you. How's it going, MST?
All right, so I got some questions for you.
Okay.
So, and I know this is probably pretty standard for most runners, but when you had the option to do meme route at the beginning, and you didn't have supers. Was that the reason you didn't do it, or do you just not like the meme route in general?
I don't really do the meme route in general.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just gonna die if I go back there, so I pretty much just don't do it.
Okay, that makes sense. Because yeah, those side hoppers are hit really hard when you have no interconnects.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately for both of you, though, it was actually the only play to make at that point.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, going around, I mean, Stave Scumming Spore Spawn all feels pretty bad.
Yeah, so now because of what you ended up doing, like your full clear and everything, you last location supers there, is that the reason why you chose to go to Wreck Ship?
No, so the way that I've been playing these is if it gives me easy access to Wreck Ship, I try to go there first. If it gives me very easy access to Lower Norfair, then I'll go there first. And so the grapple beam really just was like, I was like, oh, I'll just check X-ray real quick, and then like I'm going back up. It's just an effort to try to not have any loops in these seeds, because I feel like if you're not familiar with RBO or any low category strategies, you're gonna have to go find everything anyways, and
right.
finish in about an hour and 20 minutes, and that's just kind of how these have all gone for me.
Yeah. Okay. No, that actually makes a lot of sense. So you get gravity, you get ice beam. Are there any thoughts of bailing at that point?
Yeah, there are definitely thoughts, but yeah, I don't know. The way that these play out, I can't really risk Varia also being like, that was the most loaded ship, by the way. Like,
yes,
maybe
it was
in the history of wreck ships, especially with the extra item. But yeah, I think that because I'm not well versed in any low categories or any RBO categories, like I need the charge upgrades, I need to find more beams. So just checking the items is the best strategy for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of what you did afterward, I also GG's to Diddy, who does finish with a time of 1 hour 22 seconds. 22 minutes 37 seconds, man. So the GG's to Diddy's there for finishing up. So you full clear Wreck Ship, which was by far the most stacked thing I've ever seen. I 5 for 5 on items. While you were going through, Diddy went down to the Norfair, which is what I expected both of you to do with that heat shield, actually. But while you were up there finding all the good stuff, like there was, trying to come up with an out for Diddy was potentially Waterway. But then you found Spazer, a gravity suit, and that just ruined any potential out Diddy had.
Yeah.
So, now when it came down to like you're in Lower Norfair, was it just a comfort thing that you checked like Mickey Mouse and Fire Fleas then for Ridley?
Yeah, I wanted
Ridley, I should say.
I wanted some extra energy because I was taking a little bit of damage, and I knew with the Key Hunters I was just going to take more. So I was like, an E-Tank or Screw Attack, which, I got bailed out at Fire Fleas. It just makes it just helps me conserve ammo. The Ridley fight is a little off for me, not having the ability to have like max damage like I've at least been a little bit used to in
right.
Old Route. So it's just like I just want the best resources I can get in pretty much that boss fight in particular, and in that area.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess that makes sense, because also we are joined by Diddy. Hello. Congrats.
Hey Diddy, good game.
Hey, GG.
So So Diddy, I think from what I see in chat, you already noticed what the big difference was with Android heading to Rexship first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and there really, in your case, there really was no. The seed gave you no potential out for what happened. Like you got various suit first.
Yeah,
But...
I had Varia first, and I was pretty sure Android would last located it, but I didn't have any movement item, and I'm not good with low item loadout. But I'm pretty happy with how much I pulled with double jump, which carried me all in lower warfare. So not so bad. I don't regret my routing. I think I did the best I could.
Yeah, no, I actually agreed with. Personally, I agreed with everything you ended up doing. And you know what? Actually, I do want to ask you. Well, before I forget, so at the start, when you have the choice to do meme route without supers, is doing it without supers something you just never do?
It's something I didn't consider because I practiced a couple dash seeds, and meme route was never the play, and Billy Mays was never the play. So I didn't consider at all going there first. And when I found that sports spawn was empty, I was mad at myself because I didn't check back of gauntlet, and I wasted a power bomb trying to check the
first item.
I didn't have enough power bombs to check back of gauntlet, and was mad because I thought at that time there would be a super pack at back of gauntlet, and I wouldn't have done sports spawn if I knew there was a super pack there. And pretty much that was a couple facepalm back to back when Gauntlet was empty, then Billy Mays was empty, and
and then you had one last little spot to look.
Yeah.
No, I guess I was mostly curious because this was the type of seed where for both of you there were no supers, but having wave beam opens up the big pink E-tank anyway. So there was no real danger of not having supers from doing that route in the first place. So that's why I was curious.
God, I didn't even think about that.
Because like the danger of meme route is you don't have a means to get the big pink E-tank. So, but you did, so that's why I was curious, because that, I mean, this is a pretty rare thing that comes up. You don't normally have wave beam right there, so Diddy, I do agree with, like, your routing. I would have done your same route, I think, for the most part. But like, so Android, you were looking for various suit when you went into Meridia.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty clear. I forgot for a little bit. I thought you should have went to Lower Norfair before you had various suit, because I forgot. But so, do you ever sort of like gamble on, because like you still had a chance to gamble on, I guess, Shactal, even though it's a little bit faster, which ended up being high jump, which was again, you got everything good that Diddy could have potentially had to make up time. Like there was literally no chance for Diddy, unfortunately, with the items. So, like, do you ever consider gambling on Croc first versus Bubble Mountain?
Usually, not with what I had. Like, I think if maybe I didn't have Heat Shield either, I might have gone to Croc first, just to not waste as much time, like refilling and stuff. But generally, if I have to choose between the two, I'll go to Bubble Mountain.
Okay, yeah, which I think most makes sense for 99% of times, seeing how there's an extra major there anyway. But yeah, the seed really didn't help you at all, did he? But despite that, I have to say that Android made the correct decisions from where the items were in the seed. But you still kept us within 5 minutes, which I am, very surprised by. Android had all the movement items, all the good movements. He had them sooner. And you still were able to keep it within with all the extra routing, all the extra path you ended up having to take. So I still think you did really good with what you had
Yeah.
in comparison.
I also
So,
found the all 4 charge upgrade, which were
yep,
really
you
what I
both
was
did that.
hoping for, because there was no supers anywhere. That's
Yeah, supers were. You both ended up with 20. I think you each got the 4 supers that each other had.
yeah.
And yeah, there's lack of supers. The 4 upgrades for you did even make. I was happy with because it made the math easier to do.
Oh yeah.
300 damage. Android, you ended up with 500, which
I don't
try
know
doing the math on that.
how many. I'm just gonna shoot until I stop getting catch up.
Oh, I guess that's another difference I could ask both of you. So, your mother brains. So Android, you use your ammo right away, and Diddy, you saved your ammo for the catch-up, or your supers for the catch-up phase. Is that just a different sort of comfort thing for you guys?
For me, if I don't have 15 to kind of finish off that last quarter of the fight, if you want to look at it that way, then I'll use them first and kind of, because I don't do the math, so I just kind of guessing anyways. So it's really, for me, depends on how many I actually have when I go in there.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. I had 14 after Mother Brain 1, so I went, but yeah, that's catch-up phase, so I don't have to count, and I just throw supers when I will be catch-up, and I missed 2 because I took a catch-up.
Yep. So, but no, overall, I think that was a pretty good race. You know, despite the seed favoring one route heavily over the other. I mean, this was really close for that divergence with the time costs that happened. So, and you're right. Set Spazers to fun. You pick up another win. Let me see, which division? You're in Brinstar, aren't you?
We're in the Brinstar division, yes.
All right. So I think then currently you are now.
We're out of the playoffs, so we're really just setting our Spazers to fun now.
But this does put you in a tie with FrencHForCe.
Yeah.
I still think you have one more race between your teams. Is that correct?
Yeah, Woody and Wish play tomorrow.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you might be out of the playoffs, but you two are fighting for the 5th spot here. So currently tied. Both of your teams are going to be 3-8 now. So, but yeah, there's plenty of Rando League happening today. A lot more Dash recall going on today and tomorrow. It's like everybody had their schedules just happened to line up where the weekend was the best choice. So, plenty more that'll be going on. And we'll look forward to the next match between you two. This was a good match between your teams, so look forward to wishing Woody.
Yeah. One thing I want to know, and I wished that more people would ask this in the interviews, is Diddy, do you have any ideas for Dash Recall? Like after playing it a little bit, do you have just anything to throw out there?
Not much. I personally hate the nerf charge got. It's really weak, and many enemies who you used to one shot just don't die, and that really messed up my movement.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that a lot. And actually,
go ahead.
I was actually going to say, in my practices and then in my race, I actually feel that meme route is super powerful in Dash Recall. Meme routing into wreck ship. And this might just be, I have a very low skill level compared to a lot of runners in here. So I'm kind of like you, Andrew. I need various suit. I'm not doing if I'm doing suitless lower Norfair, I've lost. So I have found that for me, doing the meme route in the wreck ship was by far the best option in the practices I did.
Yeah, I'm in that boat. I can't do any of the low stuff or RBO stuff, and I wasn't gonna learn it in a week. I didn't think. Yeah.
Almost took me a week to finish the only low ice percent I've ever done.
Yeah, I have a few ideas for Dash Recall. I don't necessarily think that they're stellar, but I think just throwing out ideas for people to mull over is a good idea. I know people have already heard me say that I think that if pressure valve was tweaked to let you lava dive, that might be interesting. I've also heard some people say that instead of the 2 baby suits and then the 2 big suits, about having like 2 upgradable pressure valves and heat shields. I think that's kind of interesting. An alternative I have thought about, which I think is probably an unpopular opinion, would be just do away with pressure valve and heat shield and just have 2 of each suit in the seeds and see how that works out. Like toy with that. And another idea that I had recently was if double jump worked in water, so like you could use it twice in water, but it still did water physics, that might be really interesting too.
I thought of that too. Double jump in water would be such a game breaker for Shootless Meridia.
Be interesting. I'm actually kind of curious how the engine would handle the physics on that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought it might be cool. It might also be really horrible, but I feel like these kind of ideas, we just like this. The thing that I really do like about the Dash idea and Dash Recall is like having an area to throw ideas against the wall in an area to see what sticks and how it sticks. I think is really cool.
Yeah, like this is by far the most different mode we're gonna get in League. And it's definitely it definitely made me think a lot more about things that I normally don't think about, especially with mostly dealing with the beams because the damages are different. But it is definitely a unique experience. But no, do either of you want to add anything else before we head out?
Just good game, Diddy. It's always fun racing.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to this week in particular. I thought our teams matched up pretty well, so I was excited about it no matter who I played. I don't know if you know about this, but I guess I get a little bit of revenge on my trip to France when our Airbnb host tried to charge us $600 to fix the broken toilet that I informed her about and did not break. So I guess I get to feel a little bit good about that here. But good games and good luck in your week 7 stuff.
Yeah, GG2 and good luck for your week 7 and your match against Wish.
Thank you. Oh, and thanks MST for volunteering. Help. This is really awesome that you jumped in.
It's no problem. I want to make sure we get everybody. So, if you want to follow the runners, links are in the chat. We have Diddy Kong, which is DI1010, DI10 Kong, and then Android Dreams, which is Android_Dreams. Our next match is actually going to be starting fairly soon over on Speed Gaming 2. It should start in about 10 minutes, which means the restream will be happening in about 20. And again, that's going to be over on SG2. And again, there's going to be a lot more races today and tomorrow. So again, thanks to both our runners. Thanks for Speed Gaming for hosting, and we will see you next time.